Hello there, this is Cookies. I've turned 95 of LA Erytheia, and I think this is the third time I'm recording this today. Um, so the first time the battle volume was way too loud, and then I fixed that, and I got really excited, did a bunch of recording for like several hours, and then I discovered that OBS was outputting in 720p. So I think I've got that fixed, and we're going to give this another go, and hopefully this one does not suck. At least no more than my videos normally do. And alright, so let's dive into this. So we're doing a bunch of Spirit Mastery. There's a few different reasons for choosing Spirit Mastery. Normally the spell sucks, but in this particular case I kind of like it. We have a lot of extra death gems because of Arco's Death Basket. We get a lot of chaff per summon, like per casting, which is really nice. So we get a lot of stuff that can stand in the way. They can paralyze snakes, which is really nice if they go ahead and land an attack. And but they don't actually do damage, which means Blood Vengeance won't kill them. So they're a perfect little line holder for just freezing the front line of a bunch of snakes and then allowing the mages to do whatever they're going to do. So that's the idea behind Spirit Mastery. We got a report from Genumia. We got hit by a flames from the sky. It definitely killed more than one Deducos, but this is all we get to know. 60 out of 123 units. So that probably killed about a quarter of the army, since it's supposed to hit about half. Alright, and then we lost one mage, two scouts, and a commander to different horror attacks. So we lose two more of our named scouts from way earlier in the game, such as What Do Giants Eat to Grow So Tall and Stay Safe Gem Meal. Rest in peace. Alright. And then we've got a series of battles. First up, we have the Pasture of Wisdom, where we have a large Satis army. Just taking a look at this really quick, this guy's probably doing Rush of Strength or... oh, what's the other one? Blood Rain. We have a couple of Quickening casters. We didn't trigger gem usage, so they're just doing quickness instead. We have this pretty cool queen, Ring of Returning, so she's hard to kill, especially once this form is put on her, which is good for her because she's holding a global. She's also got 23 MR to try and prevent those types of attacks. And a pretty cool artifact for fire and shock res. Doesn't really need the shock res. The strength doesn't really apply to most of her attacks, just the base part of Thunder Fist. But does get fire resist, and I think when Weeb Assassin was going through the inventory, he was looking for more fire resist, and that just happened to be there, so because the vampire got the ring. And then we've got Anti-Magic the Golem, who is in the same tile as this gnome. And then this guy's probably like a Army of Lead or Army of Gold guy. Maybe Weapons of Sharpness too. So, yeah. Pretty cool army, well supported. His prophet was in that army too. And Ultima Tifia, we've got a pack of Reborn leading what amounts to a... This is essentially a Satis raid nowadays. It's like 100 snakes and someone to bless them, and maybe a few other mages. Probably to provide some sort of Banefire support if there's a thug. But good to see Ulm getting in on the action. In Epernia, We've got our line of mages here. Now we're just fighting some junk at the moment. The most dangerous part are the Blackhawks, ironically enough, because the Blackhawks can attack rear and kill Pajama Men pretty easily. So we're hoping they land on the Eagles. They do land on the Blackhawks, or the Eagles, so they get killed. But this also apparently triggers gem usage. So we're going to blow through a ton of our gems on Wolves and Blackhawks, which is great. And then, let's see. So yeah, we gained 18 wolves and a werewolf. In Agonor, Satis and Ulm are going at it. See just how good these snakes are, fighting just a little bit of stuff. We were at the archers before they even reach them. Just off. Blood Vengeance. Oh, that was Agonor. Kind of spoiled this one, but yeah, we've got 100 snakes. Not a lot of mage support. This is probably like a maybe like a rigor mortis or something. But we've got one of my armies here. This guy gets paralyzed right off the bat from the turn 1 evos, so most of these snakes are unblessed, and he's out for 25 turns. Additionally, this guy gets interrupted trying to throw up Rigor Mortis by the intro Thunder Strikes. So we've successfully blocked Rigor Mortis and Divine Blessing, which is kind of nice for a change. So we're getting a much higher conversion ratio. We quickly kill that mage. Getting a little bit of friendly fire here. Getting a lot of friendly fire now. Okay. But we do manage... let's see, was it Ragdan? So we defeat the raid. We kill 9 of our own Draconians because Gifts from Heaven doesn't know how to interpret friendly fire. And then we managed to upgrade our wolves into Tomb Worms. So not too bad. We had a commander retreat because life is scary. And Ecnophail. So that went about as well as it could have. And Ecnophail. We've got our army here, just fighting 1 PD. Satis going after Ulm in the Western Plains. Got a little raiding group against some PD. Loses 1 Long Dead. Ulm doing a little raid into the Dragon Scale Mountains. And give me 1 second. Okay, and I'm back. Alright, so what we have here, and the units might have jumped a little, it took me a little bit too long to... I didn't pause the game first. And what we have here are Ulmish infantry, and Ulm troops struggle with magic resistance. So they've got 8 MR. They're going up against a little pack of Tomb Worms, who are blessed. They have 39 HP, 7 defense, and these guys also have 11 attack. So they should hit frequently. What's nice about them is they have a 22 damage greatsword. So if 2 of them smack a snake, they might both die, but they should kill the snake. And you could have a 3rd one standing around getting hit by the snake. So a tile of these Zweihanders should be able to kill at least 1 snake, and hopefully you can get like a 2-to-1 like kill death off of it, depending on maybe like combat speed shenanigans, because they have the same combat speed. But I think they'll trade reasonably well. If I remember right from one of the previous re-recordings I did, they're 14 gold each. So you're looking at trading about 30 gold per tomb worm, which I would certainly pay 30 gold for one of these blessed tomb worms, so I think that's a fair trade. Granted, like, ideally we'd be taking more efficient trades because Citus is scaling like crazy and has thousands of these, but on like a unit-to-unit level, I like this raid. This is pretty good. So we have a little line of these guys coming in to fight some tomb worms. And you can see all those blood vengeance ticks, but they do chop right through the snakes as well. And so they just rout each other. Ulm ends up winning. Loses 10 Zweihanders, kills 5 tomb worms. Not too bad. And the Long Dead only scored 1 kill, so that gives you an idea. Most of the fighting was between the tomb worms and the Zweihanders. And that was, yeah, Dragon Scale. So next up is the Bulwark. Citus is killing off some of my PD. It's very light mage support on this, so not feeling threatened here. And then in Genumia, we get a nice fight. So this is my army that got hit by flames from the sky. So most of these troops are already wounded. Many of them are dead. You can see many missing squares where mages should have been. So probably killed 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, I don't know, maybe killed like 12 mages. But I don't know, that's a massive army. We'll see how we do. There's a couple of quickening casters here. And I know that because I just watched them. I think this guy does Rush of Strength. But he could also do Blood Rain if you needed him to do that. We have Anti-Magic the Golem. A Rigor Mortis caster, and I think I'm sure there's a Wailing Winds caster somewhere. Maybe not. Yeah, let's go ahead and kick this one off. So starting off, this we get some turn 1 Evos doing work. And so one of the quickening casters is dead. We do get Rigor, and we get Relief from our side. Now, an important thing to note is this guy. He's doing Sabbath Master, Damage Reversal, Rush of Strength. He is a Communion Master with Blood Magic. So his job after doing those 3 spells is Reinvigoration to keep the Communion up. However, as you'll notice, we get Life After Death. We get Rush of Strength. So we can see a lot of our Communion slaves are well over 100 fatigue, getting into the dangerous zone. Let's see. Looks like some of these guys didn't properly join in either. Interesting. Maybe I didn't script them right? I don't know. But this idiot decides he's gonna do... Because he's fine. He doesn't have any fatigue. So the rest of the Communion suffering is not his problem. So he's gonna do Wither Bones. Yes. We're gonna kill off what few Communion slaves we have left and convert them into soulless rather than keeping the Communion healthy. I don't think we would have won the battle, but I think our Communion Masters probably could have done a lot more high-level spell casting if it hadn't been for that. Especially Wither Bones, because all he did was like lose the gear I put on him by casting Wither Bones. So that was pretty annoying. I would have preferred if he just casted what I told him to. So... Alright, so we see Rigor starting to set in. Howl is still going. But we're about to get the army route here. And the Hecatride gets out just in time. Alright. So in this one, I think we lose 22 mages. Losing the Spectral Mage hurts. He was our Life After Death caster. Had a Temp Gem Gen item on him to help with that. We lose some Soulless mages. We lose our Lich, who also had some gear on him. We lose a Hesperide, who probably had gear. We can double check. We do manage to kill 122 Tomb Worms. Yeah, Hesperide had a lot of gear. A lot of stuff on her. So, yeah, this one sucks. Especially since the Masters could have done a lot more without the Communion being undercut because of, like, oddities with the casting AI. So, alright. So, that was, I don't know, that was a battle. Unfortunately, these soldiers of the Setting Sun, they didn't do a heck of a lot. And I have a feeling it's because they probably fatigued out. So let's see what happened to them. Are they high encumbrance? Yeah, they're pretty high encumbrance. Also, a lot of them are wounded. So I have a feeling that they're just gonna encumber out. Yeah, maybe they just got overwhelmed. I don't know. No official kills for them, though. Alright, so that's what happened there. Kind of unfortunate. I think we could have given a better showing if it wasn't for that casting AI, but it works in mysterious ways. So maybe what I should have done was have the Lich cast a much higher fatigue spell, and then for itself personally, and then maybe it would have done the reinvigoration. Alright, so we've got that. Or continued using the Blood One Scouts because they can't really cast anything else. So the AI doesn't get fancy. So this army's wiped. This means the road to our capital is open. It also puts Green Coast in a lot of danger, and we can see he's already locked down that fort. And so we're trying to gather up some mages to defend the capital, but I'm not super hopeful. I mean, it's not an insurmountable amount of snakes right here that would be heading this way, but we just don't have a lot of stuff here anymore. For some reason, these guys weren't patrolling, and I think they should have been. This army is planning to move in on us, so it's going to try and lock down this fort, because there's nothing really else for it to do. This army is perfectly capable of taking over this fort. I mean, there's already an army on it. So I'm predicting this one will get locked down. But we're moving everything from these three into this fort for a big defense. And I'm predicting these snakes are going to coalesce on the Throne of Death. Siddis only needs 2 thrones, so we need to try and defend this one. And he's currently, I think, about to attack an Ulm throne too. So in terms of forging, we have some guys down here that are doing some forging. Just different morale hats and stuff for Wailing Winds. And I think just having some mages down here means that we have the potential to gateway something here. So he has to keep a garrison here. So that could be nice. It might tie down some snakes. I mean, there's a lot of snakes, so I'm sure he can do both, but, you know, attack us and garrison this alt site. But every little bit helps. We'll take another look at that in just a minute. In terms of this front, we are trying to build a new army here so we can free Green Coast. We're swapping off this smaller force with a larger force. I had to reassign all the troops off this guy. So, yeah, that'll be nice. Get a new army out here. Army of Lead. It's a more capable army. It can also get flames from the sky, but it might still do stuff afterwards. And then the other force is a lot of mages and this stuff. So this, we have pretty good scouting down here. So I feel comfortable having a smaller force on this throne as a garrison. But we'll see if that works out. And then, yeah, so then this one. So we have, each army is scripted on its own. And then together it should present a cohesive army. So in this one, we've got this little thug guy. And he's got a couple of our Sauromancers that we've acquired, including a twice-born one. We've also got a number of spells going out. Enslave Mind is nice because it doesn't trigger Blood Vengeance, and so even though it's got a low chance to succeed, it can still be good. Gifts from Heaven is nice because it doesn't proc Blood Vengeance as much, but it kills snakes, so you're not hitting them more than once. So each snake is only getting to roll Blood Vengeance against you once, which is really nice. Twist Fate is good for undoing a Blood Vengeance tick, I think. And Personal Luck gives the mage a chance, like a 1 in 4 chance to succeed. So theoretically, Will of the Fates should come probably at the end of the script. So, because I want to cast this Personal Luck stuff, but if I cast Will of the Fates too quickly, then when they go to cast Personal Luck, they'll already have luck, and they'll go, oh, I should do something else like Astral Fires, or some spell where I kill myself. And so actually waiting to do Will of the Fates can be good against this particular bless. Body Ethereal is good because it's there's no magic weapons on this bless, so spamming that out is pretty safe as well. Throwing up Storm because flying snakes suck. Still doing some of the turn 1 evos in the finals. They ragged on the Erytheia player because of the turn 1 evos. And now that we're getting to the end of this game, I think I'm starting to understand why. Like, I had some successes with it, but it was really easy to just throw 50 snakes in front of a Wailing Winds caster and not get hit by turn 1 evas. So I think I've been overdoing it. So a few is fine, but most of the mages should be doing a turn 1 buff to protect themselves from like Bone Grinding or Earthquake or whatever, like Winds of Death. But yeah, a lot of it was Magic Phase defense. So like a Magic Phase Lich comes alone and tries to Winds of Death your army. If he gets hit by 20 paralyzes, he's probably not going to cast it. Was a large part of the idea behind that. Then we've got Doom, Weapons of Sharpness, so we can try to kill the snakes faster. Relief for Rigor, that's a Rigor Mortis soft counter at best. Enlarge, Howl, Power the Spheres. Holy Avenger, because having my dead mages smack them back is kind of nice. What else are we doing? So here's the Will of the Fates at the end. We got Anti-Magic and Doom to start off with. Doom is nice. Puts Curse on all the enemy troops. We got Army of Gold, Ground Army, Weapons of Sharpness. fanaticism. See, reinvigoration in the script. Vampire, if you do wither bones, you're fired. Just fired. We've got Rush of Strength. Damage reversal is kind of fun, but in practice it doesn't really proc because it's 12 versus MR and the snakes have about 20 MR after anti-magic. We have a advance and cast Charm Troll. Try to make some snake friends. Firefin and Warriors of Muspelheim. We're doing this one because we have more fire gems than water gems. So this is our way to get fire and cold resist. A couple of undead masteries. More relief, Army of Giants to help mages survive Blood Vengeance procs more and help Communion Slaves by giving them a little bit more HP. Communion Masters too. Mass Regen, Serpent's Blessing. I haven't seen Foul Vapors, but it doesn't mean I can assume I'll never see it. Let's see. So we did that army. Next army is this one. I guess we can look at the formation. So we've got our low MR chaff out front. We have 2 lines of hoplites. We have hoplites covering the rest. We have snakes in here because they're high MR. My best troops are stolen troops. We have some draconians. They're decently high MR. They can stay back here. And we have a bunch of little squads in the back and on the sides to catch wolves from Hal. So that's kind of the idea there. Alright, so now this army. It's a little bit smaller, but we've got Life After Death, Time Stop, Master and Slave with the Pretender, and then a couple of controls. Just in case the Golem happens to be in range. I don't think he will be, but then we got Frostfend and Relief and a whole bunch of Communion Slaves to help feed this Communion. I think this is less likely to get interrupted. And in terms of the deployment, it's low MR stuff in the front and some Sacreds in the back. Alright. Let's see. We have 2 mages here doing some living water stuff and then fitting themselves into the Communion. Oh, I guess I double scripted Communion Master. Oh well. It's a scripting error. And then we've got this Breaking Siege Force. So some more low MR stuff, but we've got the little ghosty ghosts out in front to slow things down and freeze them up. More draconians, more hoplites, more wolves, some trolls. What do we got? We have a scripting error because we have an early Will of the Fates cast. Should be later. We have a bunch of... So this army's doing a lot of battlefield summons. So Dragon Teeth, Horde of Skeletons with Skull Stabs, so Dragon Teeth, Water Elementals. Yep. I think we also have our little Keladons, so we have 3 of these. So 3 bonus little Communion Slaves involved in it. And then there was one more cool little person I've got. Yeah, so this guy, he's also going to be a Communion Slave. He's a 310 HP tart. And when we layer Mass Regen over everything, he'll be a wonderful Communion battery for all of our Communion Masters. And he's got an LLP for good measure. And then, so altogether, what this looks like is low MR stuff in the front, 2 lines of hoplites, snakes and hoplites kind of layered all over, along with draconians, and some little squads on the sides to catch wolves. This group probably should have been out in front. So, a few small mistakes, but that's our script going into this big throne defense. And we're sneaking this guy out because he's still, I think, too valuable. like bloodstones and stuff. If we happen to win this, we might get a turn or two of respite. We'll see. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll go ahead and see you in turn 96. And hopefully I've finally gotten my OBS settings figured out on this new computer, and I stop having to re-record stuff, because yeah, I've just done like 8 turns of my Abyssea campaign, so I'm gonna have to redo those, because I don't know about other people, but I don't want to watch them in 720p. That would be awful. And I certainly wouldn't want to watch them with super, super loud battles. So okay, I'll go ahead and see you in the next one in turn 96. Have a good one.